Hey my Shuga Bears, welcome back to my channel, Bougie AF. It's your host, Nicole. It's where I say stay bougie on them. It's me feeding you feminism for the soul. It's my soul food offering. It's where I apply pressure to issues by being critical and logical. Now don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get to the commentary where I can guarantee you I will be doing too much because that's just me. And like Sheree said, who's gonna check me, boo? Welcome, Black y'all. You are tuned in to the Bougie AF channel with your girl, Nicole, where I say stay bougie on them, and I am serving you feminism for the soul. You can check me on Instagram at bougieaf_ish, and also on Twitter at I'm_bougie_AF. So listen, y'all, we're gonna get into a little Instagram scroll. There's been quite a few things that have happened over the weekend. This is the Monday after the Grammy, so there's just a lot over there on Instagram, and I just have a lot of opinions, and I just want to give it up and talk about it. And talk about everything that's going on out there. So I don't know, like, before we get into that, I was previously just in this Clubhouse room with a lot of different people, and it was Jason Lee's Clubhouse room. And if you know Jason, he's doing his thing with Hollywood Unlock, and doing his thing, building his media empire. And I'm just like really supportive of like everybody doing their thing. But most definitely, like, I'm not a hater, right? I can just not like something and just not be a hater. And I'm not even saying I don't like Jason Lee. I'm not saying that at all. So, but I can not like something and still not be a hater though. So with that being said, I'm in this room and I'm listening to everyone having a conversation. And then the tone in the room kind of changes a little bit. It got a little weird. It became a lot of, I will say, like, Jason just talking about what he's doing. Now, all of a sudden, Jason Lee is no longer a celebrity blogger. I don't even know what he's calling himself now, but he's that. He's no longer a celebrity blogger. He just have a celebrity, I guess, gossip site that he just puts stories up about, or he just has a show where he just gives his opinions about different types of situations with celebrities. So I guess that's no longer celebrity blogging or vlogging. I guess that's what we're like. I guess we're just changing everything. Like women is not women anymore. He, she, her is still not a woman. Like everything is just changing on me. Like, I don't know. I feel it's like, am I the tortoise that's behind? Because there's just so much of this, all this change that's happening. Oh my God, it's crazy out here, y'all. I mean, I get to listen to so much different types of stuff. So back to this conversation in this room. And this is why I say about like supporting everybody. You don't have to agree. You don't have to like everybody's stuff. But you're no authority on anything. And I think there's a lot of time, and there's just too many people who think that they are an authority on different things in life. Like, people have opinions, and people should be pursuing their dreams and stuff like that. And I don't believe in dimming your light for anybody. All right. With that being said, I think there's different types of like, ways that you can support people. But I don't think that you should do anything that is going to take away from you being able to, to get to the same types of the same type of tables that other people are at, right? So what I'm trying to say is that I was in this room and Jason Lee was literally trying to tell everybody, like, people just need to support other people, and all these doors have closed for him, and just basically giving out like this, if they're closing the door on me and I'm at every table and I'm talking to everybody, you just should just know that, you're not going to have any luck. It was like sort of like that. Or, when people see other people and they are shining, you should just get behind them and support them and, just, listen to them, basically. So it was just a really weird conversation that was had on an app that was filled with a bunch of creators. Like, it was sort of like, I'm that guy, I'm that man, get behind me and whack, and we're moving the culture. And it's just like, you're not moving shit. You're not moving shit. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be completely honest, and I didn't even know if I was gonna go all the way here. And I still want to see Jason Lee doing his thing, and he has been doing his thing. So, when someone tries to tell a group of people, like, doors are shutting for me, and it, like, there's just no hope, or you shouldn't even try, or you should just get behind me and the way I'm doing it, and like, that's weirdo shit. Like, listen, anybody that's out there that got a piece of talent, go for it, right? And you don't have to dim your light for other people and what they got going on. It is what it is. Cream rises to the top. This is a culture that we live in right now, and I think why I think there's so much jealousy and envy that goes on out there, and that's why I'm really consistent when I say when people have a problem with somebody, it has to be legit for me. Like, it has to be something of substance, something that you can tell me that person did to you, right? It's not going to be enough for you to tell me about somebody's vibes because some crystals or your spirit and all any of that type of shit. Like, I'm not going to listen to that, because anything outside of someone actually doing something to you, I'm going to think that you're just a fucking hater, right? But at least, even if you don't like somebody because of something that that they did to somebody else, keep it real. Keep it real about that. But I don't think you get to act like you have a personal with somebody and a person don't even fucking know you, don't talk to you, don't care to know you, avoid you, all of that type of shit, right? Acting like somebody's a distraction when they try to avoid you, it's just weird to me. And they don't go around you and they don't try to talk to you, any of that. I think that's hella weird, right? There's no moving me off that. Like, I think it's hella weird when people are overly affected by somebody else's social media that you have an option to pull up. Like, it's just weird shit out here. But back to this weird ass room and being told that Wack 100, who spends his time on Clubhouse, and like, I'm speaking factual and not out my ass information, you can actually just go on YouTube and just see all the different type of clips and snippets and rooms that have been recorded where he's just in there talking gang shit. Like, I mean, what are you talking about? Moving what culture? Which where? With the 69 type of way or the Blueface type of way? Like, how are you moving the culture that people should just get behind you guys' message? I'm confused. Oh, I thought so. I thought so. And Jason Lee, I'm just going to say, if we're talking about what you're doing in a celebrity blog space, I mean, congratulations to that. I mean, you're reporting celebrity news like everybody else. I'm not quite sure what you see as so groundbreaking, but I'm gonna be completely honest on this mic. I don't have to insult you to really kind of get at you in a way to let you know. There's nothing journalistic. There's nothing deep thought provoking from anything that you say. Like, I don't learn a fucking thing from anything that you say. What else did I want to say to you that you were alluding at in this weird ass room? Let me see. What else did you bring up? Oh, and then you brought up your associations and the business that you're doing. Like I said, and be consistent. When I believe in people when they speak on a mic, and I believe in what they're talking about. And you brought up Wendy Williams and how she did it her way, and how she wasn't like bought or influenced by outside people. Either you loved her or you didn't, right? But you couldn't get next to her and think that she wasn't going to give it up about situations in an unbiased type of way, right? And there was times that people thought Wendy should have been more biased, right? Like, even when she said what she said about Nene Leakes, right? People were like, well, girl, that was your friend. You didn't even have to cover it. But she covered it the way that she covers everything. And she determined who was her friends, right? She didn't let this business get in the way of what she was trying to do. And people in this business. So for me, when it comes to Jason Lee and what he does over there, and you've seen it over the years, he's gotten less raw. And I've said this about certain people in certain spaces, right? And when you're not even strong enough with your own original thoughts and opinions on different things, and like ideologies and all the other stuff, like politics and stuff, right? If you don't really know what the fuck you're talking about, you're going to be in rooms and spaces and be overly impressed with people that you shouldn't be that impressed with. And I say that to say, your impression or how you feel about Kanye West, nobody else who is educated or anything feels that way about Kanye West. I don't give a fuck. I'm talking about people who have money and don't have money. Like, nobody's that overly, I'm sorry, even people with money don't think they're overly impressed with him in an intellectual type of way. He's not a fucking genius. And I just don't believe you. You're bought at this point. At this point, you're bought. You're always talking about, I was with this person, I was with that person, and all that other shit. So I can't trust a thing that you say. And I also want to address this in general. This is not about Jason. This is not about just Jason or anybody else. If you are in spaces and you're making money off of what the fuck you do. Stop talking about that community shit with me, right? Like stop trying to put that community, oh, I'm doing it for the community, I'm doing it to give back. Because I have most definitely been extremely real when I talk about people about like Monica Cannon Grant or all these other individuals who are just hustling off of trauma. Y'all don't be doing it for the community. You don't put anybody else on. Like it just is what it is. Everybody's getting money. But so you're not gonna even like try to put yourself on a pedestal in general when we all out here just talking our shit. And even you motherfuckers that are celebrities that putting your business out there that feel some sort of way when people talk about you. And that to me has a lot to do with the Will and Jada. I feel bad about everybody involved in that situation. I feel bad for. I feel bad for everybody involved in that situation. I feel bad for everybody. Chris, I feel bad for Jada. I feel bad for Will. I feel bad for Chris because he didn't deserve to get smacked. He didn't deserve to get smacked. He didn't deserve violence, right? I think if Will would have gotten on that stage and just took the mic and dog checked that nigga, then I would have understood that more, and it would have sent a better message to how to stand up for somebody, right? That is what I think that should have happened. I thought it was inappropriate that Chris told that joke in that space. I think he purposely tried to do it. I think it was purposely people having feelings towards Jada. And I most definitely understand why Jada and Will felt some sort of way, because when you're out here and you know people out here making slick comments and they taking little opportunities to say what the hell they really want to say. Yes, I understand why everybody feels the way they feel, and why everybody plays a part in this situation. Because it takes a bold motherfucker to make that joke while you sitting there. It takes a bold, and at the end of the day, this is why I literally also say, I don't even know how we got there. We're going down to the Instagram, y'all. And this is why I literally say when it comes to white people, and that's why you don't tell that joke in front of them white people, because we know the dynamics amongst us, meaning black people. We knew automatically that's not what you do. That's not what you do. You most definitely, and what nobody else is saying, and even Candace Owens out there, like kind of trying to compare Will Smith to a thug. Let me be completely honest, even with Candace Owens, I'm not intimidated by like anybody's ability to be in white spaces and I'm not intimidated by people like someone like a Candace Owens, because I just think she's full of shit, right? I think it's her version of hustling. I don't see her any different than I see people in terms of Black Lives Matter, right? And it's just egregious what Candace is because, you know, you want to talk about black stuff, you want to talk about black culture, but there's just no evidence of you having any community, being in any community with black people, right? I would just respect if you would just give your opinions, but don't give it in this way that makes it seem as though you're plugged in. If you're going to be about politics, then be about fucking politics. But there's nothing political about Will Smith, right? There's nothing political about that. There's nothing. Like when Candace said something to Cardi B in terms of Cardi B giving her uneducated opinion in the political atmosphere, yes, most definitely. I understood why Candace always went after and addresses her. I understand why she addresses anybody who says anything about politics, because, you know, that is the wheelhouse that she's in, so that makes sense. But when you are talking about Will Smith and you're talking about thugs and you never even fucking been around thugs, because I have looked in your background, right? You are a suburban chick. You even more suburban than me. You had some old ass grandparents that raised you, right? You have no real ties to a community, right? So you wouldn't even know what the fuck a thug looks like outside of what you may have seen on TV. Don't play with Will Smith like that. Like, and don't do that. He is most definitely wrong, but he does not deserve for you to take a man that's had an illustrious career and try to turn him into some fucking thug. Because we get to turning you into something, it'll get real ugly. That level of disrespect that you see Jada is getting, and she's a black woman in the community, that shit's gonna turn around on your ass real quick. In all women professional circles, because don't nobody like what you did in terms of, like, no, that doesn't sit right with anybody. Anybody that's black, anybody that's educated, anybody, that shit don't sit right that you use that word. Y'all, she got me hot. Now my room is hot. But yeah, I had to get that off real quick, and most definitely with the Jason Lee and then Whack 100. Like it's like people think that they're like bullies in their own neighborhood, and they think that they're gonna bring that overly aggressive nature to different social media apps, and as if though they're gonna put an air out of intimidation, right? And as if though you should back down from that and not be out here speaking and talking like they out here speaking. Most definitely, Whack 100 is most definitely out here the man as Mandy Williams. Like what the fuck? Folks in this space talking and giving up their opinions and then feeling some sort of way, talking about there has to be consequences when you address the shit or you say something about them, but there's no consequences for them when they are giving out their opinion. Get the fuck out of here. I promise you, I'm not a bully, but like I could never be bullied, to be completely honest with you. Like in my face, like me knowingly, like nah, I don't, nah. So my whole point of this, from sitting in that conversation, don't let people bully you out of thinking that you shouldn't go for it while they're going for it, right? And there is times where you do sit back and you support other people. But let me tell you what that's in correlation to, because these niggas will try to talk you out of position or talk you out of going for yours, and they're not even trying to put you on while they're talking you out, while they're talking you out of going for it. Like, don't listen to that crab ass shit. If I ain't on your fucking team, if you ain't looking out for me, if you ain't mentoring me, if you ain't putting me on to information and all that shit, there's no fucking way you should be sitting in the room telling motherfuckers to dim their light or don't go for it and get behind you. Y'all let these niggas play in your face if you want to. It just shows me that y'all just aren't as intelligent, because that's some dumb ass shit. I'm not on his team. Nobody in that room outside the people he employed is on his team that they should be listening to some nigga tell them, oh, get behind people and just support them and just wait your turn. You wait your turn if you fucking want to. You can be new on the scene and stand out amongst everybody that's been there. What the fuck is he talking about? What the fuck is these niggas talking about? You might even could be the best person on the fucking team, and somebody can still stand out more than you because they're more creative. That's the way of the world. That's how that shit works. And I have been reading into that, and then that's the other thing. You niggas make a lot of assumptions about people and how well read they are, right? I think that's really weird. Please don't make those assumptions about me. Y'all are reading people's books and thoughts and opinions. I'm out here reading fucking. I've been reading our Declaration and our Constitution since I was in middle school, right? So my level of like what I've been reading and how I've obtained information is probably just different than other people's. But I think people should just fall back and just fall back and stop assuming, right? And stop thinking it because you have some symbols behind your name in terms of universities that it makes you smarter than anybody else, right? Those are you guys went into concentrated fields and got your education, and I'm not knocking it, be right? And I'm not like I don't even know why y'all make the assumptions like I've never like went to college or anything. Like I don't understand that. Why are we assuming that? Because I make some spelling mistakes online. I would be blowing it down, eyes halfway open, and talking my shit. But if you want to assume anything behind any of that, go ahead and play yourself. Just go ahead and fucking play yourself. What? Because sometimes I talk in my natural tongue and my tongue sometimes, and I may, depending on like if I'm just chilling and relaxing and talking regular, that it sometimes it sounds country, or sometimes I mispronounce some words, but then I switch it up and I jump back into regular, and then I don't mispronounce my words and they come out extremely fine with no problem because I'm actually taking the time to articulate myself. Oh, is that what we're talking about? Oh, okay. Like I said, you niggas, I don't know where you come from. I don't know who was your mentors growing up. I don't know who taught you what you know. But it is safer to play with your children. That's all. That's literally how I feel. It is just safer to play with your children. And I think sometimes you got trash ass people who just think money has means that they are good people or any of those other stuff. You know that shit you niggas do. Like you like try to move the goalposts and make it about something that it's not. Oh, I'm getting money out here. It's about the bag. If I never talked to you about getting money or we never got a bag together, that's not on my mind. What the fuck are we talking about? If I'm in a room and we talking about what the topic is, like I'm really confused why niggas like, but I'm getting to the bag. Like, do all that weird ass, ignorant ass nigga shit. And you can tell it's really bad because then I'm starting to go into rooms where it's mixed with like white people and black people, and then you can see how it's rubbing off on some of the white people in Clubhouse because all of a sudden they start talking about money, and I'm like, this is some ghetto ass shit. Worried about what somebody else got in the bank and they ain't calling you. If you're not a resource for me and I can't hit you up, what the fuck you worrying about somebody else's money for? And what they got? Am I begging for something? Am I selling something? You niggas are weird. You niggas are weird. Like, you niggas are weird. I'm not antisocial. I'm not awkward socially. I'm not any of those fucking weird ass things. I just don't respect that niggas just are just not up to par and elevated in thought. And for me to like to be interested and to give people like my energy and all this stuff, I can't do it with remedial shit. And when I say niggas are retarded, that's not just niggas from the projects or niggas from the hood. Niggas be retarded and they be educated. What are you talking about? Like I'm loose with that shit. Like I mean that shit is all over the place. When I call somebody retarded, there's no one specific group I'm referring to with that. Listen, these rooms are dangerous. These rooms are places where people who have not read and people who have not had strong influences in their lives, or people who don't know how to look for resources and do their own research and do critical thinking and analysis and all those other things. These rooms are dangerous for that because what ends up happening, people are lazy and they depend on other people for 1 second. They depend on other people to be sources of knowledge for them. And I say that because that's a really big deal, being a black American and knowing our history and knowing how information has been information has been passed down within our community. There's just a lot of miseducation that's going on, right? And there are just other individuals who there's a lot of miseducation. There's times I've been in rooms and sat and listened to conversation and knew contextually with history that people were just off, right? Yes, I'm not going up there. I'll put something in the chat section to try to, walk people back to like the correct information. But if you think I will get up on a stage and go back and forth and argue with niggas and niggas get mad at you, want to dox you, be mad, like, no, it wasn't 14 original Connolly, because I'm just giving you examples of dumb shit niggas will fall out with you about. Just difference of opinion. It could be just you just arguing about the colonies. Like, it just be weird shit. To go to the extent that they do, to follow you around, talk to everybody who you talk to, inboxing other mods, to put them on to who you are. And it's just like, I've had 1 or 2, not even 3 conversations with you. Now, all of a sudden, you know who I am? But I get it in terms of Clubhouse because the way that works, you got people who you actually do know in real life that are pussies that ain't never addressed you in real life. So what they do is that they follow you on social media and they try to make sure that you're having this similar experience, right? But what is being told is the fact of the matter is that, they're just telling your business so these new group of people can think the same way about you, right? So then you're supposed to think that there's something wrong with you because you keep having the same experience where group of different groups of people. Like, I don't give a fuck if I have the same experience with 50 group of ignorant ass motherfuckers. It is 50 group of ignorant ass motherfuckers. If you can't straight out check me on your own directly without just implying shit or trolling me, like, I just think I love the attention. What the fuck's you talking about? That lets me know what's being said. Like, I love it. Keep talking. Cause it only falls. Like, if you really think about it, I know why I'm having the experience I'm having. And so that's why I'm consistent. That's why I'm consistent about going in on certain types of people the way I do. Very consistent. When I talk about retards, I'm very consistent when I talk about project ass shit. Because I know the experience I'm having. I'm not stupid. Alright. I don't know. That was long. That was a lot. How long was that? Ooh, 24 minutes. A half an hour. Alright, we're going to get into like 1 or 2 stories. We're not going to do too much on the Instagram scam. But y'all, if you got a little bit of talent, basically go for it. Don't let these crab ass niggas who don't know you Don't let these crab ass niggas who don't know you try to tell you don't go for it. Don't let them tell you that what your product should be like and what type of content you should be putting out. Just it is what it is. Everybody does their thing differently. Right? Some may be boring to some people, may not be boring to other people, right? There are some people who just sit back and listen to people talk, and that's literally what a podcast is. But but there are some people who like a lot of you know what? I'm not even gonna go there. Find what the fuck you like and just like it, right? That is just what it is. Keep scrolling if you too offended by some shit, right? And if something is causing you to have your whole day be completely off, and your whole day be off balance, and your whole day be fucked up behind some shit on this internet, don't go there. Block it. Put it on your block list on any of the social media. But don't pull that shit back up. Your whole day, that shit fucked up your whole day. Nothing like it. Like, did it say your name? Do you know them people? Do you know them people? Like, I'm just confused. It's wild out here. All right, so let's go ahead and get over to Instagram. I'm sorry. Oh, so you know what? The first story I wanted to talk about that was actually another conversation that was being had. Wait a second. That was being had over the weekend was the fact that Biden said that he would support reparations, but it would have to include African Americans and Native Americans. And there's a lot of conversation about that. I feel like, because if you do know the history and if you know how this country did, there was a lot of Native Americans that were at some point, what's the word I'm looking for? And this is something I caught on very early on when I got on Clubhouse, and that's why I didn't sit in a lot of these debates and go back and forth about the Indians. We call them pretend Indians on this Clubhouse. There was a lot. The reason why I did do a lot of back and forth with the pretend Indians and that whole conversation about, like, blackness and stuff like that. One, because they didn't have a lot of evidence to support what they're saying, right? And then two, it becomes a personal thing when you're trying to tell people that they're not who they are, right? So you're just like, okay, I'm not gonna, like, who the fuck am I, right? I don't know their grandmother, I don't know their mothers, like, I don't know any of that. So I'm not sitting in rooms like going back and forth with you, Han, about you wanting to be a black Indian, right? I'm just not doing that, right? If that's what your grandmom and them all told you, for you to sit up here and not feel like you're a black person, what the fuck am I gonna do? I can't undo any of that, right? With that being said, I also said, if you guys, I guess at some point there was a lot of black Native Americans that could have been a part of the Cherokees, that could have been a part of Indian tribes that were their, what am I trying to say? They changed them from being able to call themselves Native Americans, and they were redesignated to call themselves black, right? So they were moved from being in the Native American class to now being considered a black American, which ended up being African American. With that being said, I felt like the language of saying it would also have to include, this is how I feel, when you hear Biden says that it would also have to include Native Americans, I feel like he is saying that covers that covers those black Native Americans that also experienced hardship in this country that predates the civil rights movement. And I'm okay for the minority community that was disenfranchised, that was exterminated, per se, and persecuted and all those other things within this country, right? I think that's a good cutoff, to be completely honest. I think that includes that, and that also includes black people. The one thing about the reparations, we're asking for repair for an experience that we've had in this country that's even after 1865, which is slavery. And I think we can honestly say the Indians have also experienced that same experience, right? And I think a lot of times people was like, well, they got this land, they got this, and they got that, they got casinos, right? There's only certain tribes that got casinos, right? And a lot of times, like, if you talk to a lot of Indian people, they most definitely tell you about life has not been easy, and it's not like they're not having the exact same hardships that we're having within America, within America. Like, they're having the same hardships that we're having, right? They have generational curses, they have generational trauma. You know what I mean? They have trauma too, right? So I'm okay with it. I know there's a lot of people who aren't, but if I had to think about, Native Americans in that experience, yes, I would most definitely be okay. Most definitely. Because and plus that's such a small percentage of people. I think people fail to realize that's such a small percentage of people. I would not hold up our claim for going back and forth and coming across as really unempathetic to another group of minority people. I don't think acknowledging what they've been through takes away from, acknowledging what Black Americans have been through. I think it equally does that. And I'm here for it, right? I had an experience where I sat in a room with a guy and he was Native American and he was from New Mexico. And he most definitely was telling me, we were talking about, he was talking about tribal land and people who go, they have their own prisons. He was talking about a lot of, alcoholism is really big in a Native American community. Like it's not a rich community, right? It's not a community that is benefiting so exponential, like benefiting so much from America that we would feel like they're double dipping, right? And I think that's the only concern that we should have. They're not double dipping. They've not been taken care of to the point where we feel like America has, looked out for the Native Americans. Like none of that has happened, right? Like I said, there's been certain tribes, and of course, there's been federal funding and stuff of money given. But like I said, it's not spread out enough that we should feel like we should just turn our backs on that. That's the only thing, right? Now to them, what is it? To the Pan Africanism and the diaspora people, or the that feel like they should be included. Like, and it's so weird because like I don't even go back and forth for Pan Africanists, right? Pan African, because if you're Black American, then I knew you were going to be taken care of if it does go through. So it's like, why am I spending time on this? It's like these. It's just like, oh, so y'all niggas just want to like be in my face and go back and forth and argue about this diaspora stuff, be included in reparations because you're in love with the continent of Africa. Like, can you be in love with the continent of Africa and just leave our justice claim out of that in terms of what reparations is? Like, can you leave that? Because that's so specific. So when I say, even like I was sitting in a room and I see people talking about it, it's like what you're asking for is for people to change the entire claim. We know the leg that we have to stand on. Like, we know there's precedent out there for this, right? So why would we then go back in and start a whole new claim and then have to include countries like the UK and like the UK, France? You would have to include UK, France, the Dutch. You would have to include anybody who participated and benefited off of slavery, right? So that would then mean that we would be prolonged, and not to mention like the caveat, like I'm sorry, the cherry on top is of the factor is that we were actually promised this. Like, so this was something that at one point in time our government acknowledged that they were going to do. None of these other governments have like said this, right? So then we would then have to spend time with convincing these people that they should pay the reparations. Now listen, I will spend that time after I get this through, right? Meaning our justice claim that we know that is solid because it was a promise that was made, right? It's a debt owed, right? So they've not even said they owe you. Right? So that's more work, additional work that would have to be done. Now, I think, if you really want to be completely honest, you in the diaspora and your Pan-Africanism and wherever, DACA and all y'all, you should just get behind us and support us. I think it's time for people just to get behind us, right? Because what ends up happening, what has historically happened is that Black Americans in this country, y'all say we're lazy. We've been getting to it with the civil rights and getting legislation and getting all this stuff in place for thinking that we were going to benefit from it. But again, the Africans and everybody else came and they benefited from it, right? All of this and what we've been able to do in this country in terms of our activism and what we've been fighting for has benefited everybody else. And so, like I just said, I just think this is the time that, diaspora, right? I know how y'all try to find that one word or something I mess up. But I just think it's time for y'all just to get behind us and support us, right? I think it's just, y'all should just be calling y'all local if y'all feel like we a community. And I think, what's his name? There was a guy on Twitter, he's an Africana teacher. And, we just got to work together as a community. Yeah, let's work together. Y'all see what we're doing, right? Y'all should just be out there supporting us and telling your family members and talking to your local congressman. And support us like you support the Ukrainians. Like, that's just literally how I feel. Like, people get together and have so much, they crying for everybody overseas and everywhere else, but don't really want to support the disenfranchised and the hurt people within their own community. So no, get behind us like you get behind Ukraine. Get behind us like you get behind anybody. And I know Ukraine is a little extreme because that is a war, but it's sort of like it's easy it feels like it's easier for people to try to protect the vulnerable and the most affected in society when it's like another country, right? It's like easier to fix the outside than fix the inside. That's what it comes across. I mean, that's the only reason I say the Ukraine thing. But it just feels like, it's, historically, when you talk about the black community, we've always been sending money everywhere, right? There's so many countries and so many leaders who faked like our friends and allies that got money out of us. We've invested so much money overseas. Yeah, it does look like, okay, y'all rather be out there trying to fix that instead of trying to fix here. I will tell y'all right now, my mama said we've been sending too much money to them Ukrainian people. So Joe Biden, you need to. The one thing I hope that has came out of all of this is that people realize that Black Americans are not on board with the immigration thing as much as people as much as people who have platforms, or much as people who are on these news shows. Like, we don't really support that shit. Like, I think, people like a Angela Rye and, people who do have access to people in the community, like, if they were really giving it up in these spaces, like Amanda Seales, if they were really giving it up, because if you were talking to actual Black Americans who were keeping it real with you, you would actually just know that we're not here for that, like, all like you think. Y'all are blackfacing issues and then telling us that this is how we feel about it, and that's just not the case. Oh gosh, I went in 36 minutes. I'm going in. All right, so listen, I'm on the people's Twitter. I don't even need to show y'all that. I was on Twitter. This is something funny, and some guy wrote, "I've never met an alpha female in my life. Where are they from?" And so me, I'm cheeky. Me neither. I will stand aside for you to lift, open, and pay for whatever you want silently. Just watch how you talk and treat a nigga, though. And that's exactly how I feel. I have no idea what an alpha female is. All I do know is that people are crazy. I think that there's just men who just don't meet a certain level of expectations. And so when you have certain women that do and can meet those levels of like high expectation, I think those women who are excelling at high levels, or, are just strong, in terms of being able to hold their own, they get these labels as alpha. And I think, we see it currently. We always got to say how we see it and where we see it at currently, so everybody knows, right? We see it currently in terms of like the conversation and people talking about Jada. That's why that joke was bad, because he most definitely compared her to an alpha woman, which was what was perceived to be Demi Moore's character in G.I. Jane. So it was just a joke that was just layered in a lot of sexism, a lot of misogyny, and just was and culturally, insult, like it was just insensitive, right? So it was just a layered joke. It was most definitely playing in their face. Like, I don't know why people can't see that. No woman wants to be considered like some type of masculine, want to be man ass woman. I think that's something that maybe a stud may think that's a compliment. I don't know any women that are out here is like, oh, I'm an alpha woman, or like, I don't know. That's not something that I feel like is natural, or I even hear. I think I was in a room one time and they was like, oh, women like their men to be weak and they can run over them and they can be in charge. I've never known me to get together with other women when we talk about men. Like, that's never a thing. That's not a conversation. Well, let me get me a nigga who he do whatever I say. Like, nobody wants to make their man look like a bitch. Like, nobody wants to be with a man that's a bitch. Like, I'm just gonna completely just say it. Like, that's not cute. That's not nothing. That's nothing to be proud of, right? If I can dog my man, I need not to be out in public with him. I think that's ugly, right? But I think, equally, so it's equally saying, I just don't know where people get that shit from. Like, women aren't getting together saying, I want a bitch ass nigga. That's not it. I think what ends up happening is that women, you get with somebody and you're thinking that you're going to build with each other and be able to hold each other down, and he meets the level of expectation in the relationship. He's handling his business like the head nigga that he wants to be in charge, right? And so when you get with a man and he's not meeting those levels of expectation, then I think that's what happens, that women then will probably because they have to hold everything down for you not meeting, you not being the man like you're supposed to. Then I think that that's when people start to think women are just, oh, you're being an alpha in that type of way. Now, if we're talking about business, and I'm talking about in terms of like my proximity to certain men in my past, in terms of like if they consider me an alpha woman, I think black men have a problem with thinking that all women are attracted to them, right? And in certain spaces, I'm not concerned about coming off as feminine in that type of way, because that's not what this is. I'm not at the club. I'm not smiling in your face in that type of flirty ass type of way. And if it's about just even like on Clubhouse and giving our opinions and just kicking it, I don't feel like I don't want to come off as docile. I don't want to come off as meek. I don't want to come off as soft spoken. Like, cause that's not why I'm here, right? I'm not attracted to niggas' voices on Clubhouse, right? Like, so I'm not codifying you. I'm not babying you. I'm not making you feel good about anything about yourself. Like, I'm not about yourself, but like, I'm not like, this is not that moment. Right? This is not that moment. So it's just really weird sometimes as a black woman that I do feel like black men sometimes in all spaces, I'm talking about business, want you to operate in a way that you're seeking their validation and their approval about either what you're saying or what you're doing. And it's just like, no, I don't even know you. So I'm never seeking your validation. I'm never seeking validation from somebody that does not play a role in my life, or there's no power. I'm sorry, there's no power dynamics between us. Like, there's no relationship. There's nothing. Like, so I'm not seeking your validation, right? I'm like, and it's just weird because men expect you to always want and be doing things to, that that they're so centered in your life. And I'm talking about even if you're at work, that you will behave or you will talk to them in a certain way, because you want them to like you. And it's just like, no, I don't want you to like me outside of like if we get along and we cool, but I'm not gonna operate in a way like that just to please you. Is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, I thought that was funny. All right, so we're just gonna get. All right, y'all. So I just wanted to share that experience with you guys. Like, I'm gonna start doing more videos where they're gonna be shorter, and I'm gonna be just like really just talking, literally like different things I want, just want to talk about in terms of mixing it with the celebrity stuff. I know, and I see, got to build it up, and only way I can do that is just being myself. And just organically talking about the things that I want to talk about. And it's not always going to be celebrity based. Like, I have a wide range of knowledge, and I have a wide range of just opinions, and I'm going to be doing that, right? So I'm someone who, if you read any of the stuff that I've written or told you about myself, history, I love history, I love politics, I love social issues, I love all of those things. And of course I follow social media, but I also follow social issues, right? And I love talking about that stuff. So I'm gonna always give it up give it up in these videos and talking about that. I'm not chasing trending topics. I'm not a news source, and nor am I trying to be a news source. And I get why people do it, and I'm not knocking it. But I also got to just do what feels good to me. And that's the most important thing to me in terms of like giving it up and giving my opinions about different things. It just literally has to be what's good for me. Let me take this off my screen because I didn't get to cover this story in this video because my internet is acting up. So bear with me. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys my experience of like what I heard in that conversation, and just be extremely clear. I don't get in comments sometimes in certain rooms and act a fool because I want to hear what the conversation's about, and I don't want to get kicked out. So I'm silently listening. But at the same time, I be having opinions, and I'm going to give it up when I get a chance on my platform or behind my mic, and just call it for what it is. And I'll say your name if I feel like it. I say your name. I say your name, right? But I think there's a difference. I addressed what I thought about what I heard. I didn't insult. I didn't make any references, inferences to anything personally. But that's just literally what I felt about that situation in terms of what I heard from Wack 100 and Jason Lee. And at the end of the day, they are getting money. That's all. That's all that matters to some people. And and God bless them. Right? God bless them. But just because you getting money out there doesn't mean that everybody respects you. And everybody, is just going to fall in line behind what the fuck you peddling though too, right? I'm not quite sure what a Wack 100 is peddling outside of old gangster ass, gang stories or in Clubhouse rooms, G checking niggas and who you with and da 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 da. still trying to pull up on people and shit, and people pulling up on you at 50. I'm not quite sure what you doing for the community in terms, but you just, I just gotta watch niggas and listen and let it go in one ear and out the fucking other, right? All right, y'all be bougie as f. Y'all be black as f. Y'all y'all be posh as f. And y'all be back, y'all. Ah.